YouTube? Welcome back to OPCG. And today, I think we're going to get into a little bit of discussion. This is probably the last meta discussion I'm going to do on set 3. We're still going to do some gameplay. We're going to go over to Florida for regionals in a couple weekends, and we're going to play there. So hopefully get some deck profiles, some coverage there too. But this is just a discussion based off of, my talks before, based off of Gen Con, which I went to and spectacularly bombed. It was awful. If you guys want me to talk about my experience at Gen Con, I did definitely take down my round matches for the regional, and so I could talk about it. It was a rather frustrating day. So with that being said, if you like the content and you want to see more One Piece content, we are trying to reach 5K subs. 5K subs for Gear 5 showing up in the anime. I know some of you guys are really spoiler, but like if you've been on any sort of internet, you can't avoid that. Like it's been the rage. It's been what's been talked about. So yeah, we are trying to hit that 5K sub. So if you want to go down and subscribe, this is the time. Past that, you could find out anything else I do in Universe X by going down to the link tree and seeing all these things. I have my sponsor, Mystic TCG. We're using my code UNIXDBS. You can get 5% off for your One Piece sealed product, as well as free shipping. So yeah, go over there, buy some stuff, pre-order some stuff, do what you like to do on the description. And yeah, let's actually just head into the meat and potatoes of this video. So like I said, I wanted to talk about the meta and for the rest of this season before we get set 4. We're going to start doing our set 4 breakdowns and coverage soon because like I said, I'm going to mix the OCG and the global content because I want to stay relevant with the content as it comes out. So with that being said, looking over at this, we know that we're getting set 4 over in September. However, it's kind of hard to pinpoint in September when it's going to happen, seeing as that set 1 came out on December 2nd, set 2 came out March 10th, and set 3 came out June 30th. So with these things being put into consideration, it's not really much of a way of knowing in September when this is going to drop. But that being said, we know when our events are going to be. It looks like for the offline regionals, we are going to have a August 26th. We're gonna have an August 26th regional in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're gonna have an August 26th regional in Kissimmee, Florida. I will be over at that one. We're gonna have a Core TCG offline regional on September 2nd. I assume those 3 are gonna be the ones that are set 3. And then the ones happening, the PPG one on September 23rd through 24th in Knoxville, Tennessee, I assume that one's gonna be in set 4. That's personally me. When it comes to the online treasure cups, or the treasure cups in general, we have a August 12th one from Carta Magica, as well as an August 19th one from Core TCG. And then, yeah, I think those are gonna be the ones that we have coming up in that. So with that being said, you probably got a couple more places. If you guys haven't signed up for them, unfortunately, it's probably too late. You guys know how these are. They sell out within the first 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So you gotta get on that. But with that all being said, we are going to just kind of dive into where the format is currently. So yeah, I personally think, and if you want to dispute this, like I said, take it to the comments. I will always be glad to talk, and I love to hear everybody else's experiences. Right now, we have a triangle meta, but it's not the triangle you'd expect. I believe the triangle meta right now is you have red, you have yellow, and basically Katakuri, and then you have everything else, because One Piece currently is a game that was made to be, to a fair degree, an every man's game. I can talk about this in bigger depths in another video, but the fact that you only have 10 Dawn means that you can only play so many cards per turn, so many impactful plays per turn. That is limiting play lines. You have the trigger system, which can add some swings in depending on what's going on. Just the way the game is made to be an everyman's game. In most games, even if you win handily and you felt in control the entire time, you have to look at the board and realize that your opponent probably could have killed you if they had one more turn. It's just the progression of the game. It's normally how that works. Sometimes you will get put in these positions where it's not enough, and some decks do snowball. Like, for instance, Blue Dofi generally can just sit behind a wall and you'll get to a point where you're like, I could have 5 attacks and it wouldn't kill them right now, even though they're at 1 life. You could get into, games like like games like Katakuri, where they have resolved 2 to 3 big moms and they are sitting at a full life total with multiple huge swingers on board and you can't do anything about it. So there are some games that can snowball, and yes, this is not an end-all be-all sentence. Sometimes it can get out of hand with other decks too, but generally these games are close regardless of who won and who lost. But that being said, red is by far the most dominant color, and nobody needs help realizing that. You can just sit down at any tournament, any locals, and you can feel it. Red has Rush, which is arguably the best keyboard skill in the game. Red destroys cards based off of power and has a plethora of cards, good cards mind you, that lessen power. Red has cheap bodies. Red has big bombs. Even though Whitebeard got limited, Whitebeard is still a massive bomb. Marco being generic is very, very good. And speaking of generic, red has so many cards that aren't leader locked. When you look at so many other decks, it's not that way. Big Mom 10 drop requires a Big Mom Pirates. Kaido 10 drop requires Animal Pirates or Beast Pirates. Onigashima requires the same thing. An Impel Down cards only play with an Impel Down leader. Like, when you're looking at these, a lot of these cards are limited, but red is just not that way. Whitebeard is with any red deck, you know? Zoro boosts any card on your field. These red generic cards have led red to just be the best card deck. And when you have these red cards, they can all be played to some different capacity, you know? Whitebeard got a little nerfed, but Whitebeard is just basically back on Strawbeard. It still has the ability to go up to 9k on guard point, which is great. It has a huge hand. Marco 5 is just such a good asset. Marco 4 is still as good as ever. Whitebeard is still good as ever. If you're playing Luffy, you kind of play more of a mid-range. If you're playing Zoro, you got this balls to the wall strategy. Even Ace can still ball. That is the sheer strength of red. Red has so many tools. And then when you move over to Katakuri, Katakuri trades the ability to essentially interact with the board. What Katakuri has is pressure. Depending on its triggers, it has tempo, and it has some of the most destructive top end in the game, being able to gain life while you lose life, while it adds a massive body to the field that you have to deal with or just try to survive while you kill them with the gap that they just created. Katakuri, only weakness of Katakuri is that Katakuri, sometimes its top end is locked behind what triggers it gets, but at the same time, Katakuri does not interact with the board. So decks like Doflamingo and Law just get to build up their board and really do so in peace. Now, what you have to see moving forward from that though is everything else being in the third part of the triangle. And I know some people are gonna get upset with me saying that, oh no, like this and this and this and this and this. But realistically, the issue is that whatever decks thrive against Katakuri normally don't thrive against red for the most part. Like, look at Law. Law gets to set up on Katakuri. All Katakuri has for Law are Strusens to destroy one drops, which are effective if seen, but they have to go -2 in hand to destroy a searcher when that might not be the only searcher available, or they have Thunderbolt, which requires them to go down on life unless it's triggered. But against red, Law has to run through Vistas, Marcos, Fire Fists, Jet Pistols, and Whitebeard. The list goes on. Law has to deal so much with so much destruction coming out of red. It's not funny. And then you look over at Lucci, for instance. Lucci versus Whitebeard should be a pretty decent matchup. Once they're down on life, you just start hammering away with these huge double strikes. And usually, if you can go into Whitebeard's the kill turn for Rob Lucci against Whitebeard with 3 or more life, generally you are winning that game. You are swinging on them for over 10, maybe 11, maybe 12, like once, and then you discard 2 if you can destroy something on their board, and then twice, and then bam, right then and there you are getting rid of most of their hand. They have to draw very optimally to stop that from 2 turns, and so it's like you are really going to be able to just have a Rob Lucci and a Kobe and another card, and then 2 cards discard, and you can generally go ham. Then they have to try to kill you, and then if they if they don't kill you, like it becomes a really weird thing. And once they're at 0 life and you deplete their hand like that, they have to put up a blocker. They have to hope you don't have anything to destroy said blocker, and they have to kind of worry about putting you in a kill position. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. However, Lucci versus Yellow, Yellow can snowball pretty hard against Lucci because you can destroy a lot of their small things, but it takes combination. Lots of Lucci's cards, or lots of Katakuri's cards are 4 drops. then you get to the bigger cards and it becomes annoying. Lucci has to have setup to destroy those. So essentially, Katakuri can snowball hard against Lucci, and Lucci can hurt Whitebeard. So once again, that's that. Let's go back over to green, right? Green versus red. Yes, green can, depending on how the red matchup goes. If the red is more destruction heavy, green can have some problems because nothing has haste. They will likely get popped before they can put in work and provide pressure. However, green can still put some things aside, swing, start like, getting rid of things or putting pressure on things that red did not want to have pressured. But against green as well, or against yellow, depending on how green plays, green can set up a pretty strong board because once again, yellow does not have the best interaction. So when yellow burns you, they still have to get rid of that life through attacking. And yellow or green can have a really good wall up plus Punk Gibson's, which will touch almost anything that yellow plays out except Katakuri and Big Moms. And right then and there, you were seeing that at work. Look at Doflamingo. Doflamingo has a pretty decent matchup versus yellow because once again, they can just build the wall. Against red, I think it's more dependent on how your deck is built. If you're playing just rush and low the ground aggression, I think blue can take care of that pretty handedly. But if you're playing more destruction heavy, you have these turns where you can just blow out a Gecko Moria and a Doflamingo blocker with a single Fire Fist and just really halt their momentum. You really don't let anything that they play stay on the board, and that becomes a very tough detriment to them. So I really do have the triangle being red with Whitebeard at the top. If you don't think Whitebeard's at the top, you're fooling yourself. Whitebeard is the most consistent of the red deck simply because it sees more cards. So you're looking at red with Whitebeard at the top, you're looking at Katakuri as the other part of the triangle, and you're looking at everything else the other part. So here's the fact of the matter. Everybody can run hot in this game. You run hot in any card game, but One Piece, typically, sometimes Lolly Luck can be in your favor a little bit more. And there's a lot of skill that goes into this game, but there's also a chunk of variance as well. All you can do is set yourself up best for the meta as well as the event that you're playing. Whitebeard, I arguably would say Whitebeard has the highest chance of topping because it simply is just, you get the most gas in your hand. You have a leader that's just stronger than other leaders. People have to dawn differently. The same normal tried and true strategies. The perfect 7 number of poking has to become 8, and that's 3 dawn in your leader, which is not good, which means you have to start playing out bodies to boost them up to 8. There's a lot of things. You can chip for 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, but you still have to have the volume of attacks to get those 6s through until your other swings matter more. So you have a lot of things you can do against Whitebeard, but Whitebeard is by far the best definitive across the board leader. I mean, you have Zoro and you have Luffy, which is, you both see good points of success. But yeah, essentially red is just top dog. And going into these next couple events, I think you have to understand this isn't taking any other deck out of the equation. We just had a Dofi player just get #1. Shout out to Kiko, met you in Missouri, had a great night at the casino. But that shows you any deck can get there in One Piece. You just have a much better probability with some of the more overtuned decks. And if you guys want me to do another video talking about what they should do to leaders like Zoro and Whitebeard, I will be happy to do that. Just let that be known in the comments. But I think until we get set 4, we are looking at our current meta. You play Whitebeard, Zoro or Luffy, or you come in at your own risk. Katakuri can high roll a lot of people. Katakuri can also sometimes not high roll and get worn out. Any of these decks, these Kinamans, these kids, these film kids, these Doflamingos, these crocodiles, they can do very well too. But the thing is though, most decks have to get a 6 or 7 or above to combat Whitebeard, whereas Whitebeard only really needs a 5 or above opening hand to carry themselves until later in the game where they can stabilize and start playing their big things because they're seeing almost double the cards you are for the first 4 turns of the game. So that's just what I wanted to talk about. We've had our limits, we've seen enough tournaments, and we're seeing some interesting outcomes. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know how you feel about this current format. Let me know what changes you would like to see, and if you have any ideas for any other One Piece videos, I will put them out. Like I'm gonna start going to set 4, but if you have any good ideas, I will put them out in addition to set 4. So just let me know. Thanks. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys the next time you decide to join Universe X. Later. So let's talk about Mystic TCG, your one-stop shop for all your TCG needs. On the site, you can buy or pre-order plenty of sealed product for plenty of games. Just make sure though, if you're pre-ordering, to give it 3 to 4 months in advance to start looking, because sometimes the product is indeed hot, supply and demand, you know? And then if you want to buy singles, go on tcgplayer.com. There's going to be a link in the description where you can buy for the best value. And if you want to sell cards or collections, you can message them on their Facebook site so you can get the best bang for your buck on any type of way you want to buy or sell cards. And then while you're at it, you can use the code UNIXTCG at checkout to get even more of a discount. So hey, what are you waiting for? Check out Mystic TCG today.